Good morning, friends. As per request of many of the students to have some lectures on introduction to human anatomy, their terminology, and little bit concept. So here I am bringing you a lecture on introduction to human anatomy in three parts. Today we will talk only about the basics in part one. So first of all, when we come to any medical course like BMS or any other, we talk about it what is anatomy, or we are very fascinated about anatomy because we are going to do dissection, we are going to do something which is more often said as anatomy. Basically, what is anatomy? The anatomy includes structures that can be seen grossly means without any aid of magnification, that is microscope or any other thing, and microscopically also with the help of some microscope. So both the ways we can study the anatomy, that is structures, microstructures or gross structures. Typically, when used by itself, the term anatomy tends to mean gross or microscopic anatomy. Macro means big, which can be seen easily. Okay, that is the structures that can be seen without use of microscope. Microscopic, as I have told, also called as histology, because here we are going to talk about the cells and tissues using some microscope. Basically, anatomy forms the basis for practice of medicine. If we want to practice medicine, the first and foremost thing what we should know is anatomy and physiology. Anatomy leads the physician towards the understanding of patient's disease, whether he or she is carrying out physical examination or using the most advanced imaging techniques. The ability to interpret a clinical observation correctly, therefore, the end point of sound anatomical understanding. So basically, if you want to understand what is that sign or why the sign has developed, why the symptom has developed on the patient, which particular part there is some problem, there is some disease, what is normal. So first of all, we should understand what is anatomy. So anatomy right now, what we are talking, it is normal things. Why should we learn normal? Because to differentiate it from abnormal, simply. Like there are 206 bones. So if somebody has more or less, there is some problem. Like heart is present at that particular position, it has four chambers, it has this. So if we already know the normalcy of the body structure, we can easily identify what is problem or what is not normal. Okay, so this is why the first year syllabus consists of mostly the normal things like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and all these things. What are the methods to study? Observation and visualization are the primary techniques used to study anatomy. Anatomy is much more than memorization of list of names. Normally, what we think, we have to learn the names of the bones, we have to learn the names of the muscles, organ insertion, nerve supply, different types of branches. But yeah, you have to do this, but the more important thing is to develop a vision to see inside the body without doing anything or cutting. Means we have to develop a basic sense of visualization. Although the language of anatomy is important, a network of information needed to visualize the position of physical structure in a patient goes far behind the simple memorization. That's what I was saying. Knowing the names of various branches of external carotid arteries is not same as being able to visualize the course of lingual artery from the origin of its neck to its termination in the tongue. This is what we have to visualize. That means we have to develop a third eye, a visual eye, which we can understand. Means after doing all the anatomical work, we should be so much perfect that if somebody is talking about some bone, some branch, some muscle, the diagram should be inside our mind and we should follow that diagram. An understanding of anatomy requires an understanding of context in which the terminology can be remembered. Always say it's not just cramming up everything. It is to understand and then to observe, then to visualize, and then ultimately a memory will be developed, will be for longer time. Let's see some definitions. It is concerned with the consideration of various structures which make up the human body. It is restricted sense. The anatomy deals with the parts which forms the fully developed individual and can be demonstrated to the naked eye by various methods of dissection. There are many other definitions which are given in the books. You can follow any of them. Basically, if you see the word anatomy, it's made by two words, ana plus tomy. It means simply means to cut and see, which is just synonym to dissection also. Anatomical nomenclature. The anatomy is the study of structure of the body, as we already said. It is conveniently divided into topographical or gross anatomy, which includes surface of living anatomy, neuroanatomy, endoscopic or imaging anatomy. Second part can be microscopic anatomy, that is histology, and third is also considered to be embryology, that is study of embryo and fetus, that is intrauterine anatomy. Anatomical language is one of the most fundamental languages of medicine, which you should know. There's no other option. The description of thousands of structures is impossible without an extensive and often highly specialized vocabulary. The terms are very specific because we are normally going to use the dead languages like Latin and Greek. Dead languages are dead languages which are not normally used nowadays, so that the mixing or the changing of the words is very much restricted. So we are going to use these words only. How can gross anatomy be studied? What are the types of methods? So basically there are two methods. One is regional approach, one is systemic approach. With a regional approach, each system of body is studied separately and all aspects of that regions are studied at the same time. For example, if we are going to learn the thorax, we have to learn its all structures and examine them. This includes vasculature, that is blood supply, artery and veins, the nerve supply, the bones, the muscles, the other structures and organs located in that particular region. We are going to study together. This is what basically we do during dissectional study. In contrast, in a systemic approach, each system of body is studied, followed throughout the body. For example, if we want to talk about the cardiovascular system, so we have to talk about the heart and all the blood vessels of body at a time. So this is a two methods, regional approach and systemic approach. Both have some benefits and some deficiencies. The regional approach works very well if the anatomic courses involve cadaver dissection, but falls short when it comes to understanding the continuity. Means regional it is easy to understand, but continuity is disturbed. Similarly, the systemic approach is faster and understanding of entire system of the body, but it is really very difficult to coordinate in dissection studies. So both have some pros and cons. Basically, we follow the regional one. Branches of anatomy. The first is regional anatomy. Many definitions are there in different books, so I've taken the easiest one. It deals with the anatomy of various structures as they lie in relationship with one another in different regions of the body. It is available for surgeons and doctors, physicians also. So what actually we are going to learn in regional anatomy in a particular region, what is the bone, what is the muscle, what is the relation to each other. These all things we have to see in cadaveric dissection. Then comes the surface anatomy. This is the real thing, what visualization you are going to do. It deals with the study and identification of various structures in living person by methods of inspection and palpation. General examination has three things: inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation. So among them, inspection and palpation we are going to do with the help of our knowledge of surface anatomy. It helps to enhance the knowledge acquired through the dissection of cadaver by either line of study, regional or systemic. It is helpful both in the treatment and health and disease and is daily used in medical practice. So whatever we have seen during the dissection, whatever we are going to study in visual anatomical aids, we are going to utilize that particular knowledge on the living body, on the patient. That particular type of study of anatomy is known as surface anatomy. Means whatever is deep inside the body, we are going to visualize or we are going to inspect it with the help of surface on the skin. Then comes the radiological anatomy. It deals with the structure of human body with the aids of X-rays and other techniques also. Ultrasound, CT, all these things also comes in this particular part. It helps to investigate the anatomical facts which cannot be understood by any other method. Nowadays, it is too much used. Embryology, it is the study of various changes in developing organism from fertilization of ovum up to the birth of the baby. Is whatever development is happening inside the uterus, we are going to study under this particular part of the anatomy, that is embryology. Histology, hist plus logy, hist means tissue, logy means to study. This is the study of various tissues by various scientific methods, especially microscopy. We are going to use the compound microscope, histochemistry, radioautography, etc. Now, the definition of tissue is also going to tissue may be defined as a combination of various cells performing a certain function at a certain time. Next is the clinical anatomy. It is the direct application of facts of human anatomy to medicine and surgery. The students are always advised to lay the stress on applied expert while they are studying the gross anatomy in dissection hall. My personal view is also that whenever we are going to study the anatomy, our main concern should be how we are going to use that particular knowledge in our practicing of medicine. So clinical anatomy is most important thing and we should always follow this system. Then comes the systemic, we have already talked about it. There are several system on the body and we can study a system wise pattern also. What is the organization of the body? Everybody knows The basic unit is cell, then tissue, then organ, then all these things. So the collection of cells of similar morphology performing a specific function is called tissue. And there are four basic levels: epithelium, connective, muscular, and nervous tissues. We'll talk about them in some other part of lecture when we are going to talk about the histology. Then comes the organ, a group of tissues performing similar function is will be called as organ. The association of different tissues will perform certain for the organ like bone, muscle, heart, and then a group of organs which are working harmoniously to discharge a specific function is going to called as system, like cardiac system. The heart is also working, artery is also working, veins are also working. So all this comes from the organ system. So this is the list of some organ system. Integumentary, that is skin, skeletal, circulatory, digestive, respiratory, urinary, reproductive, nervous, many others. Now coming towards the most important part of this lecture, that is anatomical terminology. We are today only going to discuss a little bit only, but the most important one is anatomical position. Like whenever we are going to observe a patient, he might be sitting on the stool, he might be lying on the couch, but how to study? Because with all these different positions, the locations of the organs, the muscles, shape is going to change. So what was thought to have a definite position? So that definite position after a vast study has confirmed into an anatomical position, which all of us should know. It is in a specific body position in which an individual stands upright with the feet parallel and flat on the floor. The head is at level and the eyes look forward towards the observer. The arms are at either side of the body with the palm facing forward and the thumbs pointing towards from the body. You can see the position here, the legs, the arms hanging sideways, the eyes in the front, head straight, and whole body is straight way. So this particular position you have to learn by heart and you have to understand. And whenever we are going to read the books, whenever we are going to discuss any position in the body, discussion hall also, the mind should see this particular position only. Next is anatomical planes. So there are two things, planes or section first of all. So both are actually imaginary or real also. Section implies an actual cut or slice to reveal the internal anatomy, whereas plane implies an imaginary cut. Again, the visual, the power which you have to develop in your mind. The, if we talk about the planes, you will see there are three major planes: sagittal, frontal, and transverse. Anatomical planes. A sagittal plane extends parallel, vertically divides the body or organ into two parts, right and left. Remember, right and left is divided by sagittal. If it passes from the median section, it will divide the body into two equal right and left half. If it divides other than median section, again it will divide the body into right and left half, but they will be unequal. One will be bigger, one will be smaller. The second type of plane is frontal or coronal. Coronal is then suture in the skull, to that the name has came. Also extends vertically, but it divides perpendicular to the sagittal plane. Means if this was the sagittal plane, the coronal will fall like this. So it divides the body into two parts, anterior one and posterior one. That is front or back. Frontal section of body, if head is taken as an example, it would divide the one portion of head wearing the face and other face wearing the back of the head. This is example. The third type of plane is transverse plane, which passes across the body or any organ perpendicular to its long axis. It divides the body into the upper or superior, inferior or lower portion. So if this is the longer axis and we divide the body into any of these sections, these are horizontal sections. If I divide the hand into this part, the upper part will be known as superior, the lower part will be known as inferior. In CT scan, normally we see the transverse sections only. Let's see some diagrams. So this is for the sagittal. You can see this particular line, middle line. This is mid sagittal plane. You can see easily it divides the body into two parts, right and left. If it is mid sagittal plane, then they will be equal parts. Now see the coronal plane. Coronal plane divides this particular plane, this glass, this is like a plane, this one, coronal plane. It is also called as frontal plane, divides the body into anterior and posterior part. Next comes the transverse plane, this third one. This is the transverse plane. Transverse plane divide the body into upper part and the lower part. These are the basic three planes which we have to keep in our mind. Remember, these all are the imaginary planes through which we are going to take the help to understand the relation and locations of different body parts internally located. So we will close this lecture today here only. In the next part, we are going to learn about some directional terms and some specific terms related with bones. Thank you.